You never know when it's going to be the last time that you see someone. And sometimes the words that are left unsaid are often way heavier than the ones that were spoken. So last night I was just working in flow state. I sometimes receive messages or downloads when I'm in creator mode. It's not just when I'm in meditation, but I was just kind of creating. I had my music going on, I was tuned in, and then all of a sudden I started thinking about this man, Henry. And Henry was like my soul family, like kindred spirits. And he passed away recently. He drowned actually on the day that I was supposed to talk to him or meet up with him. But anyways, last night I could feel his presence so strongly, and it wasn't in words, but it was in energy. So I knew he was there with me, and I felt his love, and I could tell that he was also in a good place. And with him, like, our connection was very unique. There were 3 different people all close to me who had good intentions over different timelines, all suggested that he and I meet each other because they thought that he could help me or whatever, right? They just thought it'd be a good match. And I didn't actually get to see him much this summer, but he was always super supportive of me. When I came back, he actually offered to pick me up from the airport, and he let me stay. He lives in a sailboat, so when I didn't have a place for a few weeks, he let me stay there. But anyways, I only saw him a few times this summer, just because he lives on the island, and it's always nice to go there, but it's just I don't like feeling trapped. But the last time I was supposed to see him, it was not great. I personally hate feeling rushed. Like, I know time doesn't exist, but when I feel like I am forced or hurried, or have to waste time being stuck in stuff like traffic, I try to avoid all that stuff. So my sister, Dee Dee, well, Dee Dee's also soul family, and my friend Guy. So she was coming down, Guy was also coming down, and then Dee Dee was going on Henry's boat. Dee Dee is one of the people that thought we should meet. So I was gonna do all these things, and it kind of threw me out of alignment, and I was frustrated because of traffic, miscommunication, poor planning, and it took me over an hour to get there. And then when I finally did talk to Dee Dee and Henry, he was a little, I don't know, I think he was drunk, but he said something very disgusting and vulgar to me. I don't even know if I want to say it, but I just hung up the phone. Like, I was with my friend Guy, we were having lunch, and I hung up the phone immediately just because that was my boundary. Like, you don't say that to people. And I mean, he probably didn't even mean it, but it was just so disgusting and disrespectful. So immediately Dee Dee called me back. She's like, I knew that wasn't going to go over well. And at that point, I just went home. I got back to working, and I just kind of let all that go. But I was angry, and so I just didn't want to talk to him. And then a few weeks passed, and then he texted me, and he apologized. And I also had a key to his attic, so he wanted to grab that from me, and I forgave him. And I just said, that's not okay what you said. I just remove those words from your vocabulary. And then I actually offered to help him with something, and so he was gonna message me on the Monday, and we made plans to call and connect and possibly even meet up, but he never texted me. And that's not unlike Henry, because he's very busy and stuff. So I didn't really think too much of it, but I got a text a few days later on Wednesday from a guy that I'd been introduced to through Henry, and he asked me what happened. That's how I found out that he drowned. And it was just so sudden and shocking. And if I hadn't actually made my peace with him and chosen to forgive him and doing that, like, the guilt and remorse that I would have felt for being angry with somebody who was so sweet to me and was like a father to me, We actually spent Father's Day, like he took me out on his sailboat, and he was such a sweet man. And I mean, it was more of a boundary thing, but I was angry. And, you know, I'm just so grateful that I got to forgive him and to just put that in the past, because that isn't, it's not the foundation of a relationship. You know, people make mistakes. And forgiveness is actually a frequency. It's the frequency of love and compassion. And I set my boundary, but like, you know, that was something that he did in the past, and he, you know, would respect that moving forward. So, and so it's just so important. I was actually guided to tell you guys this. So that's why I'm doing that. I don't know who needs to hear this, but, the heart chakra teaches us that forgiveness is the portal, right? It's not just for forgiving others, it's also for ourselves, right? Because if we're hanging on to negative charges, that is actually throwing us out of alignment, and we're holding on to resentment and anger, which blocks it. It like cages the heart. And so forgiveness isn't, it's like, we don't want to condone somebody, because the past is the past. Well, all we have right here is this present moment. And so forgiveness is a frequency that basically helps set us free, and it helps us elevate into that higher consciousness where we're not just reacting out of ego. Because if you're holding on to anger to just be right, you know, that's very egoic, right? It's all about you. But when we choose peace over pride, even if it's just peace within yourself, 'cause you don't want to hang on to this anger, something alchemical happens, and we transmute that pain into presence, into power, into just allowing ourselves to be more compassionate and benevolent, right? And being present, because, you know, if something's taking up space in your energy because of these, like, you know, this thing happened, or you have unresolved wounds, or, you know, trauma, maybe today is the day that you allow yourself to choose peace and to practice forgiveness. I actually have a meditation just specifically for forgiveness, and it's very, actually not just specifically, I combine it, but it's very good, because after you forgive, it's just like, wow, what a release. So I don't know, maybe this story resonates with you, or maybe you're, you know, angry with somebody, but just take this as a sign or a nudge that life is fragile, but love is eternal. And when we let go of the things that, you know, it's like, oh, they called me this or do this. And I mean, sometimes we have to, you know, forgive people who do horrible things to us, but it's doing it for the fullness of your own heart, and learning to love yourself, and just practicing with maybe something small. You know, I like practice forgiving, or even just imagine yourself forgiving someone, and then respond, and just notice how much lighter you feel when you realize that forgiveness can be easy. Because holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. But then what if they do? You know, like, do you really want that? Because when somebody's gone, they're gone. And if they were close to you, you're not gonna hang on to all that resentment. You're gonna miss that person, because that is the love, right? You still feel it. And so it's not weak to feel so deeply. It's actually a strength. And the more that you feel, the stronger you become, and the stronger it strengthens your heart chakra, because it's actually sacred to choose love and to let go, and just to be in that love in the present moment, and not to let the past continue to cause you harm in this present moment, because it's all that we have, right? So choosing peace, that really helped me. I mean, I forgave my mother. I forgave both my parents for stuff, and that really made, like, my father's passing, I had already forgiven him, and I feel at peace with him. I really did everything I could do, despite many obstacles and having to step back, and a lot of, you know, putting my own ego aside, because I wanted to help him, and sometimes people don't want to be helped. And with my mother, I also forgave her. I mean, obviously I forgave her after she died, because I was like traumatized and upset, But I did some deeper work, and I went to ayahuasca. I actually was summoned on that whole trip. Like, I had no desire to drink the medicine, and I had a dream, which I never dream. But that was specifically to help me with my mother. And after I forgave my mother in like unconditionally love and forgiveness, and I made my peace with her, and I unified with her while I was doing this 10-day ceremony with ayahuasca. After that, my mother started coming as my guardian angel. And a lot of people know this because a lot of people have channeled her. I don't know, maybe I'm starting to learn how to channel now. Like I just did kind of with Henry, but I couldn't before. But I was open, and I had healed that relationship. And so, you know, that's something I would never have thought that would ever happen based on my past with my mother. But in the present, I have peace with her. And it's like, it's kind of interesting now because a lot of my childhood woundings obviously come from my parent, right? We had developed most of them in the time when we're developing our root chakra, and there are fears. And now both my parents are omnipresent, and I feel their love, and it's actually shifted how I, you know, kind of show up, and I believe in myself, because it's like all of that doesn't actually matter. So, you know, it's always really unfortunate when somebody crosses over, but they are always with us if we are, you know, able to hold on to their memory, but also just to let go of any resentment and hold on to it with love. So yeah, I don't know, I felt like I was supposed to share that with you. So thank you for listening if you made it this far. And if you're struggling to forgive somebody for something, let me know if you were interested. I can post a little meditation to help you. It's really a beautiful process to just feel how much lighter you do, and to actually do that. And when you shift that energy internally, it starts to shift things outside too. So anyways, that's all. Thank you, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of the day. And if this resonated with you at all, please like and subscribe to support the channel, and I'm sending you love.